on, guys? My name is Brandon. Welcome to Audio Addiction, where we finally say album reviews. You can find our band reviews, and you can find live coverage of the concerts that we get. I have a ton of live sets. I'll be probably making a poll on Instagram and on Facebook to see which ones you want me to post. I just have so many. I got some this past weekend too, so I am just kind of stacked to the gills with some awesome live content. Also, I've been posting a lot of interviews. If you haven't checked them out, The Plot and You, I posted one with Limbs, and I have a few other ones coming up, I the Mighty, and just some really awesome bands that I'm stoked to share with you guys as well, and also just a ton more album reviews, things of that nature. I did take a break for a little bit, but I'm coming back full force and hoping to get some more stuff to you guys. But tonight, we're going to be talking about Visenya's newest EP, Commonplace. So for those familiar with the channel, you know that Visenya is a close homie of just the channel in general, and I gotta give a huge shout outs to James, their singer. I see him a ton at shows, and it's always cool to just see people that that care about my channel enough in person and tell me that. Not to say that the people online don't give a crap about me, because I feel like they do too, but it's really cool to see that. It's really cool to see this band's progression, and I was excited to get Commonplace early, so thank you to James especially, but just Visenya as a whole. They are a New Jersey band. They kind of bring a lot of like alternative rock, post-hardcore, and a little bit of like a little tinge of metalcore in there as well, but definitely a band you should keep your eyes peeled for. They have some really great stuff in the works, and I hope that you guys will stick around to go check them out. But I'm gonna go through each track, give you my thoughts and opinions on it, go through some pros and cons, and then finish it out with an overall rating. So the first track is called House Divided. This one's one of my favorites. I love the intro. It kind of has that sort of like Asian flair to it. It has this sort of acoustic slash like nylon string playing in the intro, which I think is really awesome. I think right off the bat, I love how James utilizes his vocal range. He has some great mids and lows that kind of remind me of Brent from I the Mighty and Trenton from Hands Like Houses. I would say more old school Trenton. I wouldn't say like more new stuff. I mean, not to say that he has decreased in value, but I think that his vocal power back then was just phenomenal. And then also his high vocals kind of reminded me a little bit of how Tyler Carter does his vocals and just the way that he delivers them. James kind of has that sort of R&B flair to him, and I think I like that in terms of just his vocal delivery. He doesn't really kind of stick to, I guess, a certain melody or something like that. He really kind of branches off, and I like that, he takes some vocal liberties on a lot of these tracks. Instrumentally, I think it's really solid. It reminds me kind of a crossover between like Dance Gavin Dance and like, again, older Hands Like Houses. I'd say like Ground Dwellers or Unimagined. I feel like they're trying to emulate that sort of sound, and I feel like they're definitely doing that justice for sure. The last run that James does on this track is just phenomenal. I love it. I think it's a perfect way to end off one of the tracks on this record. We're gonna move into track number 2, which is Acridion. I don't even know how to, I'm not even gonna try to pronunciate it, even though I just did, just because I'm an idiot and I just don't know how to pronunciate anything. But this is one of the first singles that they had released. I think it definitely has more of a leaning towards their post-hardcore roots and stuff like that. It almost has a little bit of a metalcore feel to it, just because of the sort of double bass action that's going on, courtesy of Nick, and it just feels a little bit heavier, and I like the blends of musical styles that they have going on here. Again, kind of playing off of that more heavier vibe. I even get a little bit of Too Close to Touch as well. This song definitely has more of a definitive like kind of rhythm bounce groove to it for sure, and it also has that sort of old school I the Mighty feel, which, as you know, I'm a huge I the Mighty fan. I've always have been, always will be, and this one definitely plays off more of this sort of EP sound. a little bit of Satori, a little bit of Connector here and there, but it feels a lot more along the lines of the EP and kind of that sound, which is definitely awesome. I think it is fair to kind of compare them to I the Mighty in that way, because just the way that James does his vocals, the instrumentals, I would say the instrumentals are a little bit heavier, but other than that, I think just the way that they kind of rearrange the like vocal patterns, the melodies that they have going on, I think really speaks for the type of music that they write, and it kind of can hear where the influences come from. The lead guitar work in this track is really impressive. It's probably one of my favorite elements of the track. I don't know whether it was Chris or James that does the lead parts. I'm pretty sure it's Chris. So you can correct me if I'm wrong, but it's really great stuff. I think the way that he kind of layers over the original rhythm guitar pieces, I think is really awesome. The electronic and the sort of more ambient bridge is really cool as well. It really breaks up the track in a nice way, and it's one that you can go listen to right now. I'm pretty sure on their YouTube page, or you can find it on Facebook. It's definitely out there for you to listen to now. So we're gonna move into track number 3, which is Simple Conversations. This is the second single that they have released. They released it with a music video, and it also happens to be one of my favorite tracks off the record as well. And this one just has that groove right off the bat. Just the way that they have just the vocals going. I think that again, they really give a lot of creative liberty to James, and just the way that he kind of concocts his vocal patterns, his vocal riffing. I think it really fits well with what they're going for. I think instrumentally and chord phrasing, I love this track. I think this is my favorite track instrumentally, just because it's got a lot more of a kind of groove vibe to it. It's got even some different chords that you would technically or realistically hear in kind of the music that's going on now. It has almost a like borderline certain jazz kind of R&B feel to it as well. Soul, you can hear that they play a lot off of that as well, and I like the influence and the influx of that sort of sound in their music, and just kind of incorporating it. The chorus is hella catchy. It has that sort of DGD progressive swing to it that I feel like not a lot of bands are doing well. And if they are, I feel like they're doing it a disservice, and this one happens to be one that I feel like they do a great job of kind of incorporating that sound, but still making it very much their own. I love the electronic element throughout the entire track. It really kind of brings the song together, and it also helps to utilize kind of more of the melodies that they have going on with that to match up with either James's singing or just like the melody of the track in general. The harmonized vocal in the bridge is just super ear candy. I love harmonized vocals. It's probably one of my favorite things, and I love the incorporation of that in this track. I think it really works. So we're gonna move into track number 4, which is Blue Spirit. This one's definitely on the heavier side. I think much like track number 2, Acridion. I think that it definitely utilizes more of Brian's bass playing as well as Nick's drumming for a good chunk of the track, which I think is a nice switch up. It's a nice change, but and another thing that I really liked about this track is that just the way that James kind of throws in a little bit more emotion in just the way that he sings, or just kind of lyrical emphasis on certain words and phrases in the song. And I think it really, I would love to hear more of that. I feel like, not that he was necessarily reserved in the tracks that preceded this one, but I really can feel a lot of the just emotion and a lot of the draw in this track from James. However, I feel like this one is probably the weakest link off the EP. It's not one that really kind of grabbed me. I feel like, they very much kept to what they're known for, what they're familiar with, and that can be either a good thing or a bad thing, but just based off of the tracks that they have now and the ones that I've talked about, I think that this one just falls a little bit short in comparison. So we're going to move into track number 5, which is Revisions. This is the last track, and it's one of my favorites, and I think it really kind of speaks to this record in the way that it really kind of culminates everything. It has a uniqueness to it, and it really has some heavy elements. It has some really kind of progressive, more melodic elements to it, but it also puts their best foot forward, and it kind of gives you a glimpse into hopefully what they continue to do and what they continue to evolve into. It brings a lot of the best aspects of my favorite tracks on this record, and I think it's a good closeout track. They ended this one off strong, and it is one that, again, I hope that they kind of continue on with. So we're gonna move into some pros and cons. Some of the cons were, I feel like sound wise, while it is solid, I feel like it is also very familiar. I think it's a little bit safe. I know that it is an EP, so they really kind of didn't have the time to really maybe be more musically expansive. And just EPs in general are a little bit shorter, and I can't really take that to heart as much, but it's one of those things that I hope that they kind of maybe refocus themselves and kind of really, fine tune what they do well, and kind of, play off that going forward. I'd love to hear them, take a playbook out of Revisions, or take a playbook out of House Divided. Those were tracks that, as soon as I listened to this record, I knew that they were really well executed, really well put together tracks, and it's funny that they are bookends to each other, but it would be really cool to see them kind of branch off and do, something a little bit more experimental, a little bit more, a little bit more tension, things of that nature. Even like I was saying in Blue Spirit, if James kind of put a little bit more rawness into his stuff, like, because the singing slash like almost yell sort of stuff, I love that sort of like just that like vocal growl that certain people have, and I think James definitely has it in spades, and I'd love to hear a little bit more of that going further. I think they could even go a little bit heavier. I think that bands like Picturesque, bands like Too Close to Touch get to that moment of like doing it but don't really do it, and I feel like this band can definitely pull off going just the slightest bit heavier into more post-hardcore territory. But this record definitely has a lot of pros to it. Vocally, I love what James is doing. He really kind of combines a lot of the best elements of a lot of the top post-hardcore vocalists out there now, and I'm so proud that they are from New Jersey and I can rep them that way. Instrumentally, I think it's very unique as well. Just the lead guitar is something that just sticks out to me right away, and is one of those things that I'm like, yep, that they got it. It's definitely what they got going on. Also, I think songwriting, just the way that they structure tracks, are really thought out. I think one track that really executes it very well is Simple Conversations. That one definitely, they honed into the kind of musical craft of what they do, and it really feels well executed and well arranged. So my overall rating for Visenya's Commonplace, I'm going to be giving it a 9.3 out of 10. I think it is a solid first EP. I've, obviously been a fan of this band for a very long time, and, I'm excited to see what they do next. This EP is just kind of a stepping stone into something greater, and I can definitely feel something good on the horizon. So definitely check them out if you haven't already. Links in the description. If you like this review, make sure to subscribe, hit that thumbs up, share. It goes a long way. Thanks, of course, to James again for coming on, and more videos to come in the foreseeable future. My name is Brandon. We hope you got your fix, and we'll be talking with you soon. Peace. Hey guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Of course, if you enjoy what we do, make sure to go check out the other series we do. We do album reviews, we do band interviews, and we do live videos, so definitely go check that out. Hit that subscribe button. It really helps our channel, helps us grow. Make sure to hit that like button as well. Go follow us on social media. That's all down below. We try to keep that as updated as possible. We also made a new website where we'll be posting photos of upcoming concerts and stuff like that, which you can go check out at audioaddictionmedia.com, and come get your fix with us, guys. Talk to you later. Deuces.